Hey everybody, it's Chad with Nobody Else's Auto. We're running a little behind tonight. We apologize for that. Been one of those days where everything was bananas and nothing seemed to go right. But anyway, we got through it. Trying to think about what we wanted to talk about tonight, and something that I know you've all seen because it's in a lot of the episodes in the background, but we've never really addressed the actual story behind it, even though it is kind of a pretty noticeable piece. And that's our big Oldsmobile Neon right here behind me. It's a cool piece. It is just one-sided. The sign has been split, and I have half of it that has been restored and is working. And we'll take a good look at it here in a little bit. And as we all know, the reason that a lot of us do this and collect this stuff and enjoy it is the stories behind it. And that's one thing about this Oldsmobile sign. It's kind of an important piece to me. This sign, as shocking as it may be, this sign came, and I don't know if anybody has any ideas where the sign may have come from, but it came out of the dump. A guy that I knew basically my whole life by the name of Charlie Sharp. I knew him as Orr. Some people called him Charlie, some people called him Orr. I knew him as Orr. Known him my whole life. He was in the same car clubs we were in. You know, been to his place 100 times. He was a Ford guy, had a lot of cool Fords, V12 Lincolns and things like that. And he was a big tractor guy, had a great tractor collection, a lot of minis and things like that. Even used to have some UDLX minis, which are pretty cool pieces. But super good guy. He was a Korean War veteran. He worked on B-29s, and he did sheet metal work on B-29s in Korea. So, you know, as we all know, and that's why we're in this hobby, it's the friends we make, and it's the people you meet, and it's the memories you make and keep, you know, throughout your life of those times and the people you met and their stories. And that's why this Oldsmobile sign's a pretty cool piece to me. Orr had a great collection. Not only did he have cars and tractors, but he had a great sign collection. When Orr went into assisted living here 3 or 4 years ago, the family decided to start selling his stuff off. And they took the signs and stuff over to Car Auction Real Estate, where my partners on F&E Collector Auto Auction, Jim and Chris Froschner, handled their sale. And they had one full day of signs, and it was all good stuff. It was great stuff. Orr had a pretty good collection of neons. He had this Oldsmobile, and he had the other one he found in the dump the same day, the Buick, that came off of the same dealership in Lyons, Kansas. And he had a Ford Neon. He had a Minneapolis Moline, he had a John Deere, he had a Case. So he had a pretty good collection of neons along with all of his regular porcelain signs and globes and things like that. So he was a super neat guy. We lost him, I believe, about a year ago. I think last year, was when we lost him. And but, you know, I'll always remember him. I got a couple other signs at the auction that day. I'll remember some of the stuff I bought from him over the years. The bed on the 40 cab over project actually came off of a pickup that I got from Orr out of his back pasture. So, you know, that's the type of stuff that means something. That's why we do it. That's why we enjoy this hobby, and that's what makes it fun. You have the memories, you have the people, and then the signs and the cars and the toys and the things like that. You know, where did you get it? What auction? What swap meet? You know, things like that. And that's what makes it cool. So that's the story about where the sign came from. And we'll take a little better look at it here in a minute. But as shocking as it may be, that sign was trash. Orr told me literally he backed into the dump to unload trash one day. And this was probably, I'm guessing, early 70s. And this neon, as well as the Buick neon, were laying in the dump. So he unloaded his trash and he loaded them up, thankfully. So he had them restored. Like I said, they were both double-sided neons. He traded one half of the porcelain to have the signs restored. So he gave the sign restorer one half, and he got back his other half completely restored with new neon and new can and everything. The Buick sign, my dad bought it at the auction, and I bought the Oldsmobile. So we've got both of them. One's in my dad's shop, and I've got this one. But great piece, and I was super excited to get it. And let's get up here a little closer to it and take a little better look at it. Like I said, the neon has been restored, but the porcelain is all original. There are a few chips in it. That extension bolts on. It's a separate piece. There's a few chips in that from where it's been on and off over the years. But just a really great shine. There's a little chip there. Great gloss, great finish. It's got the original Hydromatic button on top of it. And a little bit of chipping up there in the corner. And it's probably kind of hard to tell from here, just looking at it on camera. We'll step back here a little bit and see if you can get a little better look at it. That sign is 8 feet long. So it doesn't seem like it, but you got to remember that thing had to stick out at the front of a building and be noticed from several blocks away. So anyway, that's kind of what we thought we'd go over tonight. Like I said, I know you've seen it in a lot of the other videos. It's kind of hard to miss. It's a statement piece. It's a stunning piece. Ever since I bought it, you know, there's not anybody that's ever walked in my shop when it was lit and not stopped and said that thing is cool, because they are awesome. And when you see a lot of these neon signs at auctions and things like that, and you wonder why they're bringing the kind of money that they bring, that's why, because they're worth it. They are stunning statement pieces. They're a piece of history. This one in particular for me has, you know, not only the history of what they did back in the day, but the history of where it came from. And it's super cool to get to know those guys. And a lot of those guys, we're losing them all the time. If you've got friends like that, you know, don't miss the opportunities you got to hang out with them and learn from them and learn their stories, because they're a lot of neat guys. So anyway, thanks for being here tonight. We appreciate you hanging out with us again. We always appreciate you taking a few minutes out of your evening to hang out with us and check things out. But I thought that was a cool piece, and it's just one of those, I don't know why we never really covered it before. I know we've seen it in a lot of pictures, but just never told the story. And I was like, you know, that's something we probably ought to cover, because it's definitely a story worth telling. Oh, and it does still have the Walker on the bottom of it. I forgot to show that earlier too. The Walker and Company in Detroit, which is who made a lot of these signs. So great piece. Thanks for being here. Can't thank you guys enough for hanging out with us. Anything you want to see, throw it up in the comments. Got any questions about anything in particular, need parts for your vehicles, don't hesitate to give me a call. The numbers are on the pages. And we will see you on Friday. Thanks for being here, everybody.